so much for having me.
Good. It's nice to have you on the line. We just played your commercials, and it entails a lot. And I think you will be in the very position to, tell us all. I was first baffled when I got the news, the name Christian witches. What is it all about?
Well, Christian witches came to me by inspiration. I didn't think about it. I didn't plan it. I didn't even know that I was going to say it a moment before I said it. And it came to me a little over 7 years ago on a video that I made on YouTube. And basically, the inspiration that I received that morning was to tell your story. And as I was sharing that story of hiding my tarot decks from my Baptist husband, of being cast out of the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, of being shamed religiously, I was just telling my story. And out of my mouth came Christian witch because I wasn't willing to give up Christ and I wasn't going to give up my tarot deck. And Christ told me I didn't have to give up either. So here I am.
Wow. So, were you a Christian then? And as I speak to you now, have you quit from the Christian fraternity?
I was raised Christian from the age of 3 when they first put a Bible in my hand by the Jehovah's Witness cult. And I left there I practiced there from the age of 4 all the way up to the age of 30. At 8, I gave my first public lecture. I guess you could call it not quite a sermon because they don't allow the women to address the group. I guess you could call it my first public discourse at age 8. So this has been in my blood. I've been a minister of God all my life. I'm also a born witch. So it's very strange for people to wrap their head around that a person could be a born witch that loves Jesus Christ.
So if I did get you right, or I heard you right, you were born with the witchcraft stuff, isn't it?
Yes, I'm a born witch. Yes.
And how is it like? Can you describe it to us? It baffles me a lot.
Well, hopefully I'm understanding your question clearly. Could you take the question for me again? I have it clearly.
Yeah, the line is a little faint. What I'm asking is that you were born with the spirit. And how is it like? How do you practice it?
Well, I was born magical. So when I was a very little girl, I saw spirits. I didn't know what it meant. I saw spirits. I was not afraid of them. The fear came in after the religious conditioning, and they started to tell me that everything that I saw was the devil, right? So that's pretty much what many Christians believe erroneously, because there are many spirits that inhabit this universe. They're not all of the devil. Now, there are some spirits that are untoward, I call them, and there are some spirits that are toward. In other words, there are some spirits that are unbalanced energy. They're not here to help people. They're here for malign and malicious purposes. And then these need to be cast out, just like we see in churches and things like that. I'm a natural exorcist. It just comes to me naturally. I can talk to spirits. I've always been able to talk to spirits. I've been able to see spirits and see spirits on people. It just came to me naturally. I never studied it in school, never knew what it meant. The only thing I knew was that I had this connection to the spirit realms, and I knew I must have had it for a reason. And the only reason that fear came in is because the witnesses started telling me that everything that I saw was the devil. I would just explain things. Oh, no, that's the demon. So this blanket categorization of everything being the devil is a big problem because it's not.
So, if I may ask, what was the first reaction from your parents and those you staying with the same community?
Very good question. My mother used to tell me I was imagining things, like when I was little, 3, 4. They would tell me I'm imagining things. Oh, no, you're not seeing anything. Oh, it's just a dream. Oh, it's just your imagination. And I find that this is because as we grow up, we begin to lose our magical side, which children have. I have three grandchildren. They're 6, 5, and 2 right now. And they're all very magical and they have very clear connection to the spirit realm. But I do recognize that if you grow up, especially in Western civilization, where we highly prize intellect, science, and the scientific method, and mathematics, the hard sciences, as they call, and we don't necessarily have room for things like intuition, spirit, communication, supernatural experiences, ESP, precognition, dreams. This is just as real as the hard sciences. And this is why we have a left and right side of our brain. One is a conduit for the hard sciences, which is logic, which I'm a big logical person. I believe in logic. I believe in science and math. Numbers don't lie. And the other side of the brain is for our creative connection to things that are beyond logic. There's a lot in this universe that's beyond logic. It cannot be explained by logic. So we must have room for all of it. And I find that the people that I grew up with, they did not have room for things that were beyond logic. They only believed what they were told, which is what my work seeks to change about our world.
Wow. So what do you use it for entirely?
And say that again?
I'm asking, what do you use it for entirely?
What do I
use the spirit for? How helpful has it been to you? I mean, the spirit you have.
It's been how has it been walking my path as a Christian witch?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
It has been very fulfilling, very fulfilling. And it's freedom, which is really what Christian witching stands for. It stands for freedom of worship and freedom of devotion. I think sometimes people get the idea that I'd like to turn people into witches, and that's not my goal at all. I don't want to turn anybody into a witch, and I'm not here to do that. My assignment, divine assignment, is to stand in the truth of who I am, which is magical and mystical. I'm a mystic and I'm a magical person. So I have the Christian and the witch in me. They live as one now. Before there used to be a war. The Christian on one side, the witch on the other side. Neither one was giving, right? So I could not live with this inner conflict. So I really had to go deep into my spiritual practice and really ask God, what am I supposed to be doing? I can't throw out either one. I can't throw out Christ. The witches are saying, get rid of the Bible. Well, I wasn't going to throw out the Bible. I love the Bible. And the Bible people were saying, get rid of the witch. The witch is the devil. Well, I'm not going to get rid of the witch. I was born a witch. So what am I to do? Well, I have to come to peace within myself. So that's what I did. I turned inside within and asked God, what is really going on here? And God gave me a very powerful revelation. God gave me this revelation. I was deep in prayer because I'm a praying woman. I pray. I'm in devotion. As I said, I'm a mystic witch, really, because I believe in devotion, prayer, reading the Bible, praise. I guess you could say I'm a strange witch because I do most of everything that they see in church, and I do more than that as well. So I'm not limited to that. And I enjoy it very much. I enjoy choirs very much. I love churches. I've never been in a church that I did not enjoy. From a Catholic church, I was just in Peru leading a retreat not too long ago, and I went into the church. Any church I see, I go in. I love churches. I love God. I found God is in all of them. I've been in mosques. I've been in churches. I've been in temples in India and Bali and across the globe and in Africa, in Kenya. I've been China, Hong Kong, throughout the Caribbean, Hawaii. I've been in an ancient temple in Hawaii called the Heiau. Every temple I've been in, ancient temple in India, every temple I have ever been in, every mosque I've been in has God. I experienced this for myself. So I did not sit in a Christian church and believe everything that Christians told me without going out and having my own experience. And that's what I would urge every Christian to do. I'm not urging Christians to give up their religion. It's beautiful. If you are a Christian, you love it. That's beautiful. What you cannot do in this day and age is stay cloistered in your own tiny little spot in the world and not see other people's lives and not experience other people's lives. Why? Because when you see someone else, you will have understanding, and understanding leads to compassion. That's how I can have compassion for all people, witches, pagans, Christians, Hindus, Islam brothers and sisters, Jewish brothers and sisters, because all of them have welcomed me into their houses of worship. They have loved me. I've been to the synagogue with our Jewish brothers and sisters. They shared the holy book with me. It was in Hebrew. I didn't even know what I was looking at. I didn't know what was going on. It was all in Hebrew, and they welcomed me with open arms. So this is the time that everyone gets to have understanding of everyone else's walk, and it's very easy to do because we have the internet, so that you can land at compassion. You will not be compassionate if you don't have understanding. And for me, compassion is a must because this is what Christ was and taught and expects of us.
Wow. Reverend, let me bring you back a little bit. I am also born in a Christian home, and I do believe in God and Jesus Christ, who was nailed on the cross to save us from our sins. Is that correct?
Well, that's a good question. I don't refute anyone's belief because each person gets to make up their belief, and each person gets to choose what they choose to believe in. Yes, so I do not refute anyone's belief. I only share what is true for me. All I can do is share my experience, and in my experience, what is true for me is that there is a Christ consciousness.
Reverend, let me cut in here. Let me cut in here. Um, I've read the Bible over and over, and it says you can't serve two masters. Okay, you said you love Bible, you love Christianity, but you can't do away with the spirit that we have. That is the witch, and we understand. We Africans believe that the witches belong to satanic spirits and all that. So how can you serve two masters at the same time? Is it possible? How do you do it?
Good question. This is an assumption that a witch is of the devil. Now, this is an erroneous assumption. So if we start with bad data, we're going to end at bad data, just like a computer, garbage in, garbage out. So people are under a mass assumption that witches are on the side of the devil. This is a faulty assumption. This is an assumption that must be confronted and dispelled because it's simply not true. Now, people have thought it, they have been taught it, yet right now, if you go and do your research, you will find that the origin of the word witch did not exist when the Bible was being written, number one. And if you do your research, you will see that the word witch could not have been in the original Bible because it didn't exist when the Bible was written. So what are we talking about? We're talking about people, not magical people, which later on the church blanketed everybody magical is the devil. This is a faulty assumption, and it's time for us to cast this aside. This is ignorance. What we have found in the Bible is that the Bible says, if you go to the original text, we can do this now. We can go back to the Nag Hammadi Library. We can go to the Dead Sea Scrolls. We can read more of some of the purer versions of the Bible. We have many translations of the Bible, many different things they say. And as we know, words carry many connotations, and in many different languages, words mean different things. So what was the original essence of what God said? God said, do not go to poisoners. What are poisoners? People that you go to that make potions to kill people, to hurt people, to bring death upon people, to curse crops and things like that, which we find that in the Bible because King David was one of the best hexers that you can imagine. He would hex your crops. He taught in the Psalms, he has it all in the Psalms, with his words. He could hex crops. He hexed his wife's womb, as we know, because she did not like him praising God. He hexed her womb. She never had a child again. So what is God really talking about here? We have to get a rhema word. What God is really talking about is Are you going to people, number one, instead of going to God? I don't do that. Number two, are you setting up someone at idolatry instead of God? I don't do that. And are you going to people who are poisoners, known poisoners, who have nefarious purposes? They are here to hurt and harm people. That's not me. I took a vow of harmlessness. Many witches I know wouldn't hurt, wouldn't even kill an ant because witches are the keepers of nature. This is what God made us for. God made many beings all over this universe. God made witches as keepers of nature. So I don't know any witches that work for the devil. I don't know any witches that even believe in the devil.
Wow. But you know what? I've read a bunch of books and it talks about witches. They are involved in killings, drinking the blood of human and all that. Do you know that? That's my understanding.
Yes, I've heard of that as well. I don't know any witches that do it. Now, there are many practices in this world. And the point is that we do not need to be in fear of anything. The Bible says fear not, right? Only love. What can we gain in understanding? I feel I can gain and learn and understanding from anyone. I can talk to a Satanist and I can learn and gain. And I'm not going to talk to a Satanist based on what I believe. That's unfair. I'm going to talk to a Satanist to hear what they believe, not with the view to refute it, to gain understanding. To gain understanding. Now, I'm not going to become a Satanist. It's just not my thing. Not that there's something wrong with it. I don't believe in right and wrong, good and bad, and all that. I don't believe in all that. I believe that there is a place for everyone's voice at the table. And I believe that if we are to be compassionate human beings, that we must be able to listen to another person sharing without going off the rails and getting our panties in a bunch.
Wow. Let me tell you a story about my home country, Ghana, where I'm speaking from. The moment you come out to tell the world that you are rich, count yourself dead. You'll be outcast. We have a special place we call witches camp, some part of the north. That's where it can be found. Just recently, most of them has been dissolved. That's where the witches and the wizards are being kept. Most of them, have been stoned to death. We slap them with instant justice. Okay? And others also come out to testify or confess, I'm rich or wizard. We fly in the night hours. We leave our body, we go with our spirit. We eat flesh, we change people's destiny and order. Can you walk us through the kind of stuff that you people do? Example, you going to Salem April 15th. What is it all about? What do you do? Do you believe in rituals and all that?
Yes, I do. I do practice rituals. As a matter of fact, we're going to be having a ritual tonight. It's the new moon. And this is a very auspicious time for witches and for those who honor nature and revere nature and all that God is as nature. See, for the witch, for me as a witch, God and nature are not separate. They're one and the same. So the moon is an expression of God. A person's flesh is an expression of God. Now, I would challenge Christians on this. If they think that a person eating the flesh of another person is a problem, I would point us to the Eucharist and to communion. Communion, the very point of communion, is that you are eating the flesh of Christ, yes, and that you are drinking the blood of Christ. So I would challenge Christians on saying that witches drink blood and eat flesh when this is the very same thing Christians do.
Hmm. So do you mean to tell me the communion that we've been taking in church is exactly what the witches also do? It's almost the same, isn't it?
It is the same principle. Now, I've never eaten flesh, and I don't drink blood. I'm sure there's people that drink blood. I don't know people that drink blood. I don't know people that eat flesh. What I'm saying is, if we look at the essence of it, what is the difference between that and what they do in church? When communion, they tell us you are eating the flesh of Christ and drinking the blood of Christ as represented by the wafer and the wine. It is the same principle. And what is the principle? The principle is oneness. The principle is communion. What does communion mean? Come together, you and I, union, coming into one. We are coming into one with the flesh of Christ. This is energy, which is a very much energetic being, right? I work on energy. So the blood represents the energy, the life force of Christ. Yes? So when I commune, I am drinking the blood of Christ as represented by the priest. Now, the priest will give you the blood and the flesh. Yes? Isn't that true? In church. So if they're holding this against the witches, I would point us to our own church ritual where they told us, eat the flesh and drink the blood. And what does it really mean? So I do know witches, and myself, we use blood. I use my own blood. I don't use other people's blood. Blood is very powerful and potent. Why? Because blood carries life force. Blood is used in hospitals for healing people. Blood is used in magical rituals. Blood is used in Christian lore. Christ and the blood. If you didn't have the blood, you would not have the sacrifice of the Christ. Blood is used everywhere. So I don't think we can hold blood against witches.
Wow. This blood issue you're talking about here, uh, taking the Christianity aspects, is just symbolic to tell the world that Jesus Christ dined with the disciples. So when it happens in the church, it's just a symbolic, just a wine and a bread. That's my understanding.
Yes, that's what they say. Yet every symbol has a meaning. And I will offer that there probably are many people taking communion and drinking the blood and drinking the wine and eating the wafer that do not have the full understanding of what this means. Supposedly, if you committed fornication, you're not supposed to take communion. But I know a lot of Christians that slept with whoever they felt like sleeping with the night before. And Sunday morning, they're in communion. Sunday, they're eating the wafer and drinking wine. It's supposedly if you lie or cheated or steal, you're not supposed to take communion. However, I know plenty of Christians that go to work, take a too long out lunch break, come 15 minutes late to work, is that not stealing from your employer? Yes. And still take communion Sunday, no problem. This is hypocrisy. We get to stand, if you're going to really be a Christian and you're going to really follow the Bible, then I would offer that you really study what these things mean and the import on your life and on your soul. Because if your soul is dirty and you're going to take communion, there is a defilement there going on. But people don't think about those things because they like to look at somebody else across the street and point their finger at what they're doing wrong, which in the church it's been witches and gay people. That's been the favorite two groups of people to point their finger at and say they're of the devil, rather than cleaning up your own self. See, I don't look at other people. I look at myself. What can I clean up in my own life? And that keeps me safe and that keeps me on the right path. I can't speak to anybody else. But I can say that if we look at the Christians, are they really following what they say? I don't know.
Right. Reverend, let's flip over to the Christian Witches Conference, which is happening coming 15th April. How is it going to be, and who qualifies to be a part of this conference?
Oh, my goodness. This conference is really my heart and soul, and it is this convention of Christian witches, the first annual convention of Christian witches. It is my heart and soul. It makes me so happy. So this is what we have going on. It takes place over Resurrection Sunday weekend, which is from Good Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the week before, if you are one of our students in the mystery school, which anyone really can become a student in the Christian Witches Mystery School, we have a mystery school called the Covenant of Christian Witches Mystery School. And the mystery school will be in session a week before the convention. So the mystery school starts on Monday, the 15th, And it goes through Friday. I'm the headmistress of the mystery school. What do we teach in the mystery school? We teach magic. We teach mysticism. We teach the ancient mysteries. We teach how to apply it to your everyday life so that you can live your magical life that you're here to live if that's what you choose to do. Now, the mystery school is Monday through Friday. It starts at 9 a.m. Classes start at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a 2-hour lunch in the middle so that you can go and you can shop and have your lunch. And we do our studies in the morning and in the afternoon we practice magic. On Friday evening, which is Good Friday, now the mystery school has its own tuition. The tuition is $1,111 US, 1111. The mystery school is always the same price. And we have the mystery school, it's a moving school. So we have classes in Salem, we have classes in New Orleans in August, we have classes in Sedona in December of the mystery school. On Friday evening, when we kick off the convention, Friday evening the 19th, which is Good Friday, is very auspicious. Good Friday is the day of the right of Christ being so-called put to death, the flesh of Christ being put to death. Yes, so Good Friday, we have a kickoff on Friday evening. Welcome, it's free, it's open to the public on Friday evening. Beautiful welcome to all of our Christian witches and many people who are not Christian witches, because the convention is open to anyone who's a free thinker, pagans and witches and Christians, and anyone who is open and who is a free thinker and who stands for freedom of worship and freedom of devotion for all people. On Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m., we have a reader studio where we'll have several readers who will be doing astrological readings, numerology readings, birth readings, tarot readings. So we have several readers, and you can book appointments with our readers in the reader studio on Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. And you pay the reader directly, whatever the reader charges. On Saturday night, we have a witches ball. So a witches ball is an amazing event that's going to be themed on American Horror Story. I love American Horror Story. A lot of the witches in our community love American Horror Story. It's so poignant and it's very symbolic. And apocalypse is what we're living in now. We are living in the revolution. We're living the apocalypse. So it's very fitting that the first annual Christian Witches Ball is apocalypse, themed apocalypse. So put on your amazing witchy outfits, your capes, your gowns. The American Horror Story Apocalypse is the theme. It's Saturday night. The ball tickets are only $99. It includes your dinner, your dancing. Bring your whole coven. It's going to be at the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem, Massachusetts, which reportedly is the most haunted hotel in all of Salem. I'm very excited, very elated about that. Then on Sunday morning, Resurrection Sunday at 11 a.m., we have the first ever that I know of open Christian Witches Church service. Yes, I said it. Christian Witches Church service. I know some people are turning over in their graves right now, and I know some people are having heart palpitations right now. Well, that's my job on planet Earth, to be an agitator, to be a catalyst for change. So we have the Christian Witches Sunday service. I will be there. I am an ordained minister of God, and I will be there to deliver the service, the Sunday morning service. The message is a message of love for all people. All people are welcome to our church service. We have open arms. We welcome everyone, gay, straight, tall, short, young, old, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, everyone. We are open to everyone, transgender, queer. You are breathing and you're about love and peace. Come on in. We accept you.
Wow.
Sunday service is free, open to the public. And Sunday afternoon is our gospel brunch. Gospel brunch, where we're going to have an amazing brunch on Resurrection Sunday, is $55 for the gospel brunch for an amazing meal. You will hear from Prophet Calvin Butcher, who's an incredible prophet and medium, as you know, is a powerful force in bringing light to people about the magic of the Bible, opening eyes, basically, is a prophet. And we also have a musical guest. We will have music at our Sunday morning service. And the Christian Witches Brunch will be the crowning jewel. We will complete the Christian Witches Convention with our brunch, our gospel brunch. And one other thing I do want to mention is that the conference, this convention, will be held annually. And I know that very soon, probably in the second or third year, will be too large maybe for Salem, and so we'll move to bigger venues, of course. I do want to say that this is history in the making, and that we are seeing witches and pagans and magical practitioners now have a seat at the table, along with Christians and Muslims and Hindus and our Jewish brothers and sisters and Zoroastrian and all of our global faith walks coming together to be able to have a discourse that is peaceful and that adds the whole goal of all of us having that spiritual connection with the divine.
Wow. You've spoken at length. You know, before this interview, I spoke with one man who claims he's a wizard. He lives in Concord, close to Salem. And he said the commercials and all that are full of pleasant illusions. He said the meeting has been held spiritually. So what you're talking about is just an idol program. How true is it?
In Salem,
Yes.
Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Salem, Salem, Massachusetts is very historic for witches. Now, one of the reasons I love Salem so much is not so much for the Salem witch trials, and am I correct in what I'm answering, that you're asking about Salem and the nature of why we're having the convention there?
Yes, yes. I know it's happening live at Salem. But the man I spoke with, he said it's a wizard. He said the meeting has already been held. So what you're talking about is just an illusion. You are just bringing out for people to see, but it has been held already spiritually. How true is it?
We have already had, I'm not sure if this is the answer, but we've already had one of our classes, the Covenant of Christian Witches, first ever classes in Salem in October, my birthday week actually, in 2018. So is that what we're referring to? The Covenant of Christian Witches Mystery School that did already occur, and the convention is coming up in April.
Okay. So why Salem?
Oh, Salem. That's an excellent question. I'm so glad you asked that question. Salem is historic with witches. First, there's almost everything that you want to buy for your witchcraft in Salem. And so the amount of shopping in Salem that you can do for magical supplies is wonderful. And it comes very close to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans, I find I can get just about anything I want for magical supplies. And Salem is very much maybe second to New Orleans as far as magical supplies. So it's a perfect place for magical people to meet and come together so that they can tool themselves. If you like to get your tarot deck, your incenses, particular magical books that you may not be able to find in other places. I found magical books there that I haven't found other places. You may be able to buy cloaks and things like that there. The Omen is there, the bookstore. One of my favorite vampire stores is there. Vance Things is there, where I got an incredible cloak as a gift from the mystery school students. So Salem, that's number one. You can procure many, many, many magical supplies right there while we're practicing magic. Number two, it has a long lineage of magic and witches. Salem is probably one of the most hotbed witch places in all of the United States because of the Salem witch trials. And many of the people who were killed were not witches. They were just purported to be witches. And in the hysteria, the panic, were killed. However, there was at the root of it, at the core of it, in the center of it, one of my favorite witches who has ever lived, and that is Tituba. And Tituba reportedly was a slave. And she shared with them, and she was from Africa, and she shared with them that people she knew that were her people could fly through the sky, just as you mentioned, and could do all manner of things. And they couldn't understand it. They couldn't possibly fathom it. And so the story goes that some of the young people there began to come under spells, and they began to have these physical manifestations of spirit activity, which could well have happened. It didn't mean that they were witches. And Tituba who was reportedly captured for a time, was let go, and was never seen again. And I do know that all of that is her magic because, of course, she was able to be sure that she was free and be sure that she did not have any untoward results come to her as a result. And no one ever found Tituba. So we're really there also because we love Tituba and because we love the history and the wealth of what has occurred with the witch community in Salem. And because today, if you walk down the street in Salem with a witch hat on, which I do all the time, people will take pictures of you and celebrate you. It's very rare in the United States.
That's amazing. I used to stay in Lowell, but little did I know about Salem. So thank you very much for that wonderful education. Before I take leave of you, I am not a wizard, and if I want to possess, how can you help me? Because I'm coming down with you guys.
Yes, you can attend by going to christianwitches.com. And at christianwitches.com, you'll see there that there is the schedule and the outline of the convention. The convention is open to all people. They're very happy to have members of the press that will be there. This seems to be a very big thing. People seem to be very interested in this. People have a lot of ideas about it. So we are welcoming to all people who come in peace and love, and because we come in peace and love. And no one has to be a practicing witch to be there. You can be a person that stands for freedom. You know, everyone that walked with Martin Luther King did not believe everything exactly the same as Martin Luther King believed. Yet they did believe that all people are treated equally. All I say is that all people are to be able to worship in freedom and devotion, devotional freedom. That's all I'm saying. And that is the right of every human being.
Wow. Why the name Christian witches? Have you received some backlashes from? I'm asking. The name Christian witches. Have you received backlashes from the Christian community?
Oh my goodness. To say backlashes, that would be an understatement, sir. Yes, indeed. And I don't take any of it personally. I'm not really concerned with what people say. I'm only concerned with what my God said my mission is.
Okay.
So you can't really be too concerned with what people say. People always have a lot, you know? And most of the people that have a lot to say are people who are as ignorant. And I say ignorant not as in stupid, that they don't have a mind to think, because everyone has a mind to think from God. What I mean by ignorant is choosing to not know. And that is not acceptable in today's. We live in the information age. And so no longer do we sit and listen to what our pastors tell us without going to check your facts. Check the origin of witchcraft. Check what of the words in the Bible that I'm saying. Check what do they mean. Do your research. As the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. God gave me Christian witches, not because it's a label. It's not. I don't believe in labels. It's because it clearly elucidates and it clearly describes what we are doing. We are witches who love Christ.
Do you know what? I'm touching down in Logan on the 14th. So I'm gonna crash you guys on the 15th. Can I bring along my camera and my gadgets for recording interviews and all that?
Oh, we would be honored. Yes, by all means, we would be honored.
And lodging? Do you have to pay for lodging, or you have a special place for your guests?
Oh, for your, yes, we have a special room rate for hotels, and the special room rate is with the Hawthorne Hotel. And so we're adding that to the website. We just got that special room rate approved with a contract with the Hawthorne Hotel. So they're doing a special room rate for us, and that will be on the website too at christianwitches.com.
And I can't wait to meet you guys.
Oh, I'm so honored and I'm so thankful that you have this platform. And I'm so thankful that you talk to all kinds of people. I looked at your show. It looks like you talk to all kinds of people and that you are out there educating people about all kinds of people. And I really love that. And I thank you for the invitation.
Right. My regards to the group. Bye bye. a wɔn tu wɔn ho asi wɔ so wɔn kɔ nhyiamu ɛwɔ America kuro a yɛfrɛ no sɛ Boston ne borɔ no bi yɛfrɛ no sɛ Salem ɛhɔ yakɔ ama no so ɛfɛ kɔ ama no so na me ne Kwamina nkɔtwitwe nkɔmmɔ ɛwɔ Salem hɔ ɛlɔ Kwamina design ɛlɔ Kwamina ɛwɔ yɛrɛ Kwamina ɛwɔ hɔ na yɛne no atwitwe nkɔmmɔ na yɛka mewɔ America ne yɛtaa ka Salem na me deɛ memfa m'adwene nkɔ so bebree na medi commercials akyi a nti maame na mekonyaa no ɔyɛ Reverend Mua a kyerɛ sɛ ɔno wɔ asum bi a yɛfrɛ no sɛ Church of Satan na wagrupu nkurɔfoɔ a kyerɛ sɛ wɔn kɔ hɔ na group no wɔn dɔɔso paa a wɔn kɔ akɔhyia mu wɔ hɔ ɛna mebusa no sɛ n'adan na yɛto ɛyɛ asɔre na afei fiti prɛko paa mo se Christian witches na ɔno koraa na ɛyɛ dan na ohun sɛ ɔno ɔyɛ bɛyɛfoɔ na ɔsi boo me maame wo me na kyerɛ sɛ bɛyi ne tumi ndi kura me dada deɛ wo me na akyire ansa na mmaa no bɛhu de mebusa nsa na awofo aha wɔn sɛ aha wɔn koraa wɔn a wɔn ne tie soso aha wɔn ne sukuu ɔkɔ aha wɔ biara na wɔn sɛ nipa mako mako bi na edi ne ho fɛ wɔde nanso wɔyɛ nneɛma bebree na bɛyi ne nyankopɔn na ɛde maa no na sɛ adesua mu nkuntabuo ne sikasɛm ne saa nneɛma no deɛ obiara ne wɔbɛtumi no na kyerɛ sɛ ne deɛ amɛkɔ ama no so kwabra hello kwabra hello hello oh iti hello masa dia phone number from WhatsApp na dia one line oh oba Alright, say. My phone number from where you this show.